Today, let's use Q-Learning to solve Acrobot. If you check my YouTube channel, I've already used Q-Learning on 4 different environments. I'm going to be using the same concepts discussed in those videos and apply it to Acrobot. So I'm going to go a little bit faster today. If there are any concepts that you don't understand, be sure to go back to the playlist and check out these previous videos. Now let's hop into the Acrobot environment. Acrobot is basically 2 arms attached by these 2 green joints. The idea is to train this bot to fling itself up above this line. For the action space, we have a discrete of 3. That means we have a choice of these 3 actions, either to apply torque to either side, and the torque is applied to the second green joint right here. The observation or state space is of type box. The way to read this is that we have a shape of 6. That means we have 6 pairs of numbers to represent the observation space. They are all of type float. The 6 sets of numbers are bounded by the first array and the second array. The first number on the left corresponds to the first number on the right, the second to the second, and so on. Now, if we scroll down here, it would make more sense. We have these 6 sets of numbers, and here's a description of what they represent. The list on the left was the lower bound, and the list on the right is the upper bound. Okay, what does these mean? Let me draw the 2 joints here. Okay, here's an example. Theta 1 is this angle right here. They don't actually give us the angle. What they give us is the cosine and sine. If you remember from your trigonometry, form a right triangle. Assume the hypotenuse is 1. This is your cosine of theta, this length right here. And this length right here is your sine of theta 1. So there's your 0 and 1. And then theta 2 is relative to the first joint. That's what it says right here. And this is theta 2. Again, we'll form a right triangle. Here is cosine of theta 2, and here is sine of theta 2. Number 4, we have the angular velocity of the first joint. And then number 5 is how fast this one is moving, how fast this one is spinning. This is your theta 2, number 5. Okay, so this is our observation space. Now let's look at the rewards. The goal is to have the free end reach the target height. Again, it's this bottom arm here touching the upper line right here. That is our goal. And to do it in as few steps as possible, all steps incur a reward of -1 or a penalty of -1. When the second arm touches the target height, the episode ends and we get a reward of 0. There is also a reward threshold of -100, so we are expected to be able to achieve the goal in less than 100 steps, or 100 steps or less. Okay, now let's hop to the code. Our code is going to look pretty similar to the previous videos. We got our run function here, which is being called in our main. We're calling with training on and rendering off. We're making an instance of the environment, passing in the Acrobot ID, which can be found right here. Here's our hyperparameters, our learning rate, discount factor, the epsilon greedy variables. And also right here, we're using division to convert our continuous observation space into discrete space. Remember, in Q-Learning, we're trying to construct a Q table of actions by states. And we can only have a Q table with discrete numbers, not floating point numbers. So those 6 numbers that make up the observation space, we're using NumPy's linspace function to chop it up into 15 divisions. 15 is totally arbitrary. You can try to increase this number or decrease it. Let's illustrate what that means. Okay, for example, the first one, cosine of theta, can be any floating point number between -1 and 1. Let me draw this axis here, -1 and 1, and we're dividing it by 15, but I don't want to draw 15 here. Let's say we're dividing it by 3. So this makes 1, 2, 3 divisions. Any number that falls into this range converts into 0. Any number that is this up to here converts into 1. Any number that's this into here converts into 2, and any number starting from 1 forward converts into 3. So when we do a division of 3, we actually get 4 segments. So when we divide by 15, we'll get 16 segments. We're doing the same thing to all 6 components of the observation space. Now if we're training, we will initialize the Q table. What we get is a Q table of the dimension 16 by 16 by 16 and so on by 3 actions. If we are not training, we'll try to load the Q table from this file. Now we can start training. We'll use some values to keep track of the best reward that we achieved, and also this variable to keep track of the number of rewards that we have per episode. I is the episode counter. We'll start an infinite loop which will break out if the Acrobot is able to reach its goal in 100 steps or less. First, we reset the environment, which gives us a starting state. Right here, what we're doing is, let me go up. We use linspace to create those buckets of segments. So now with the digitalize function, we take those floating point numbers and we turn the bucket or the segment that it falls into, essentially converting a floating point number into a whole number. Let me put a breakpoint here and run the code to this point so you can see what I mean. Okay, let's examine what state is. The state that got returned is 6 numbers. What we're doing is converting these 6 floating point numbers into integers. If I look at SI0, 0.099 falls into the 14th bucket. With our environment reset, we can go into our episode loop. So while the episode is not terminated, we do epsilon greedy here, either to choose a random action or to choose the best action that we know of based on what's in the Q table. Let's continue to step our code. It's going to choose a random action. The random action that was chosen is action 1. We pass that action into environment.step. The environment takes the action and it's going to return the new state, the reward, and whether the episode terminated or not. Again, just like state up here, the new state is going to be 6 floating point numbers that we're going to convert into integers. Here we're going to use the Q-learning formula to update the Q table. We're updating the Q table for the current state and action with the incremental Q value here. After updating the Q table, we can set our current state equal to the new state, collect our reward, and then go back up into the while statement here. So let me continue. Update the Q table. Now let me put a breakpoint here. The code is going to stop here after the episode terminates. The amount collected is minus 509 steps. Every time we achieve a new best reward, we're going to save the current Q table into a file. Let's keep going. Now we'll keep track of the rewards per episode. All we're doing here is calculating the average reward over the last 100 episodes and then graphing it and saving it into an image. If our best reward is better than the reward threshold, which is defined as minus 100, we'll break out of the training loop and that would be the end of our training. Otherwise, we will decay epsilon here and increment our episode counter. And that is it. So let me remove the breakpoints and I will let the training run by itself and we'll take a look at the log down here. Okay, after 100 episodes, epsilon has decayed to 0.95. The best reward achieved is in 437 actions. On average, it took 2100 actions to reach the goal. We can see over the course of about 1,000 episodes, we went all the way down to a negative 166 reward. At about 1900 episodes, epsilon's already down to minimum. So 5% of the time, it's going to do a random action. 95% of the time, it'll do the best action. And we're kind of stabilizing in 130 steps to reach the goal. Of course, the average is going to take a while before it decreases. So it actually takes quite a lot of episodes to see any more improvement. Get to 5700 to get to 121 steps. Let's keep going. At 6600 we get 111 steps. Somewhere after 7700 we get under 100 steps to reach the goal. So now our Q table is able to solve Acrobot. Let's run it in test mode so we can visualize and see it in action. I'm gonna comment this out and uncomment this. I'm gonna set training to false and rendering to true. Hitting F5. Okay, that took 223 actions. Going back up to the log here, of course, on average, we're still requiring 322 steps to reach the goal. So in our code here, instead of using best reward to terminate the training, we can change this to mean reward. And that just means it's gonna take many more thousands of episodes to get the mean reward down to under 100. But I think you got the point. All it takes is more training to get better results. This is good enough for now, so I will end this tutorial. Reminder that you can grab my code from GitHub. The link is in the description. I'll catch you in the next one.